everyone. Welcome and thank you so much for coming to tonight's Self-Healing Made Easy event. We hope you really will feel like it's the easiest thing you've ever learned, because we are going to share with you the things in the manual and also some extra juicy bits on the side. Now, there are some people that don't know who Belle and I actually are. I'm Nevi, clearly.
I'm Belle.
And we run a business called Soulful Tribes, where we host workshops and retreats both in Melbourne and in Ubud in Bali, all around self-healing, self-love, I was going to say manifestation and meditation at the same time. That would have been an interesting word. And we use Young Living essential oils, kinesiology, Reiki, theta healing, pranic healing. So lots of different modalities that we wrap up together. And self-healing is really big on our agenda for many reasons. We love it and we think it's critical to be able to be empowered, to know how to, navigate and manage your own emotions, your own wellness, your own well-being. And we just think it's really important.
Yeah, like life just happens all the time, every day. And, you know, it's great to go and see practitioners and have healings and work through stuff. And there's stuff that a practitioner can do that your subconscious will never let you access because it blocks and hides things from you. So, you know, there's a benefit to both, but there's just so much you can do for yourself on a daily level to just get rid of stress out of your life, you know, because when you just have all these stressful things compile, that's when your system breaks down and you end up with like a lot of dis-ease going on in your body. So, you know, as things pop up and as things arise, to be able to use some of these little techniques to just switch yourself from being in fight or flight and feeling really anxious and possibly, instead of going towards panic attack, being able to bring yourself back down into a place of peace and calm.
Yeah, it's something, I guess, that wasn't really, everyone's always like, I have that skill and I'm keeping it for myself, or you do have to go and have an appointment. But Belle is a kinesiologist and she's more than willing to be able to share that knowledge and that love with everybody, right? Because you want everyone to be empowered. So we really do hope you get a lot out of tonight. And well, we know you will, but yeah. What else? Oh, the other big thing we wanted to mention is about emotions. So Belle mentioned dis-ease in the body, and often that has triggered from an emotion that either hasn't been dealt with or something that keeps coming up and we're not dealing with. So just consider, as you're going through the next few months, think about these tools when you feel like you might be unwell or getting unwell, or you feel like you need a balance of some sort. But then you want to also consider what, you know, the emotion is behind it, and even just do these because you want to. Not when the rubber, you know, not when something's happening and has manifested itself. So yeah, I think this is an important time that we're really into our emotions and being honest about that we might have stubbed our toe, but that there's a reason behind it. And we seem to be turning a lot to a particular book.
Yeah, well, there's a secret language of the body book, and you can look up and go, okay, big toe, what does that mean? But you can also stop and tune in and go, what was I thinking about in my mind when I stubbed my toe that time? Were you just so busy and distracted, or were you thinking about a certain disagreement you had with a person or something at that time, and that's why you ended up hurting yourself? And, you know, when you know, shit goes down, really like checking in with yourself and going, what emotions am I feeling? Am I feeling angry? Am I feeling frustrated? Am I feeling overwhelmed? Am I feeling anxious? And trying to tune into like why that is, because your body is always giving you messages, like always. And that book, The Secret Language of Your Body by Ina Segal, it's our Bible. So anytime, so much as, yes, stubbing a toe, anything happens, you burn your finger compared to like, you know, falling over and hurting yourself or getting a cold or a flu, everything we look up. And it's really amazing that it gives you these very clear messages about what's going on emotionally in your body, that you're hanging on to like past anger, resentments, hurts and things like that, and why things are manifesting in your body.
It's beautiful. Such a good conversation, which perfectly slides into the next one that we always start most of our workshops with, is the vibrational healing and the idea of vibration and energy and the entire universe being connected through energy. So really, emotions are just energy in motion at the end of the day. And given energy is pretty much the ruler of life, just like, you know, gravity is in many ways, energy is something not to be like dismissed as such. Like, so, you know, energy healing or energy is really important. And a lot of the self-healing techniques is about moving energy around. So to have that knowledge is really powerful, really powerful. So when we talk about vibration and everything being connected, of course, Val and I, and our obsession with essential oils is not just because they smell good, but because they're lifting frequency. And the big thing with self-healing work is often your frequency will be a little bit lower than normal, and or you need to lift it for whatever reason. You know, you could be actually just swimming along and coasting along quite nicely, but at the end of the day, it's all about lifting that vibration, isn't it? And of course, with essential oils, they're super powerful, potent botanicals in a bottle, and they have the ability to lift a vibration within seconds. We can't vouch for any other oils, but with Young Living, they started around 30 to 40 megahertz, which is how it's measured, the electrical frequency, all the way up to 320 megahertz. And that's for an oil called rose, that's made from actual rose petals. That's a really big jump. And it just goes to show the impact that even the smelling, you don't even have to ingest it, that an oil can have, and how important it is to vibrational work. And we're obsessed with the whole vibrational work, aren't we? Yep. So a human body, a healthy human body is anywhere between 62 to 78 megahertz. You can lower your frequency by 12 instantaneously with a negative thought. You can raise it with vibration by 10. Something about the negative thought we have been speaking about frequently, but we have for years, to confront what it is to speak negatively about yourself. We'll get to that in a part of tonight, or have a negative thought about something and how that can impact your vibration is very hard to comprehend that we still do it. So I know I did it. I've done it this whole week due to a big event that's just happened in my life. Not constantly, but enough. And I know better. So, you know, there's never a top to the mountain, and sharpening that skill set up. So we don't definitely act like angels, but we definitely practice what we preach, because we pull ourselves in when it's happened a few too many times in a row. And that could be in a day's worth, but you know, sometimes you can go months, right?
Yep.
And not think about that. Vibration is constantly being affected. The food you eat, the people you're around, the thoughts you're having.
Like disease in the body starts at 58 megahertz. So normally it's like 62 to 78. So if you think about a couple of negative thoughts, eat some canned food or something, and your body's into disease and disharmony. Very good. And then so easily you can like sniff an essential oil or do many other things we're about to explain tonight to lift that vibration higher again. So that way you're in a state of health and healing and rejuvenation instead of going into dis-ease and stress.
That's a great point. I love it. Emotional stress release, which is in the manual, is an amazing technique. Belle's very good at explaining.
So ESR, this is like one of the most simple and powerful yet effective tools that you can possibly use. So you may notice that whenever you're stressed, like, you know, you might get a bill and you're like stressed about it or something happens, you know, you naturally seem to do this anyway. So the ESR points, if you can see, are just these 2 points here. So you can either just put your hands like that, so they're on each of the nodules, or you can place your hands all across the top of your forehead just to make sure that you cover it all. And so these emotional stress release points do exactly that. They actually relieve stress. So you can do it if you're thinking about something that happened in the past. You can, you know, think about it and let it release. Like whenever I'm doing clients and things are coming up on the bed, I always, while they're talking about their problems and things, we're reading remedies and stuff's going on, I hold these points. So any stress that you've got stored in your body relating to that will actually get released. If you're stressed about, like, say, a future thing and you've got to do some big talk on stage, you know, and you're really nervous about it, you can hold ESR points and think forward into the future and clear any stress around that as well. So it's a really great tool. Like if you really spend 5-10 minutes with yourself when anything's going on in a stressful situation and just hold those points, you will notice really within minutes how it'll just bring the stress down. So it's really wonderful. So yeah, so present events, future events, and past events.
Hey, I just did it this morning when I woke up at 4:30 and I couldn't get back to sleep for an hour. I was getting really annoyed at myself, and then I just leant over and leant on my hand, and I was asleep within, it must have been a few minutes because I can't remember when it happened.
Yes.
I was worried about today.
Yeah. Because when you're stressed, you know, the blood goes to the back part of the brain. So it's about like, you know, bringing it forward. So that way, like you can like have coherent, calm thinking and stuff again.
Very easy to do.
Yeah.
Even in the traffic, you've got hands, put them on your head.
Exactly.
Actually, maybe not, because then you're driving with one hand. I say silly things. The next section of the manual is colour therapy, which we love because all colour has a vibration. And of course, colour, I mean, where do you even start? It's such a beautiful way to include self-healing into your life. There's that picture down the bottom of like the lady that has the light coming through her and all the chakra colours. And they're very pretty colours. They look like the rainbow, but they actually have a meaning. And on the next pages, which we'll go through, you'll see that they have a very important meaning. So colour can manifest itself in so many ways, can't it, in healing, in using colour therapy in the sense of wearing a colour. So blues to calm and cool. If you've got to open up your throat chakra, you'd wear blue. If you've got to open up your base chakra, maybe you wear red. Maybe you'll be eating red vegetables. So kind of think about colour in any element of life and how and what it means if you look at the manual and how you can bring more of that in if you feel like it's a missing or there's something lacking in that area.
Like for me, mostly I love using colour as in visualization. And so this is a really easy way that you can actually, you know, heal yourself as well. So, you know, just say you've got a tummy ache, right? You know, placing your hands on your tummy and then closing your eyes. And then you'll just like tune into, you know, ask your higher self, source, universe, guides, angels, whatever it is that you may possibly work with. But, you know, if you don't work with any of those, just asking your higher self, what colour is it that I need, you know, to heal this? And, you know, it might be like green, you know, just because it's solar plexus and tummy doesn't mean it's yellow. It could be green. I need green for healing. So you go, okay, great. And just visualize the green and just really visualizing it and letting it swirl around and go through your body and through your aura until it's healed. And then afterwards, go and grab your little manual that you got and look up what does green mean, right? And okay, so what does green mean? Green means balance and harmony, universal love, healing, meditation, restoration, inner peace, growth, nature, abundance, prosperity, Mother Earth, hope, truth. It assists in healing broken hearts, anger, frustration, forgiveness. So you might look at it and then, you know, they've got, so on the physical, it actually heals digestion and hormonal imbalance and stomach and liver and gallbladder, right? So you might have a tummy ache and be like, okay, so I know physically it's healing that. And then look at your life and go, okay, so if it's bringing in balance and harmony, where in my life am I lacking balance and harmony? Where in my life do I need more balance and harmony? You know, or, you know, have I got a broken heart? Where am I not growing? You know, where don't I have inner peace? Where aren't I growing and letting things be in life? Where am I holding anger and frustration? Who, what, why? So just by looking up the meaning of this color can actually give you some really good tools about the what and the why of what's actually going on in your body. So, you know, you might have something happen, you know, at work, or you've had a fight with a friend and you're struggling to digest life and you're feeling angry and frustrated. So then that's just a really beautiful, simple way of being able to heal yourself. And it's about, don't question yourself either. Like, just trust the very first thing that comes in. Don't go, oh, what color is it? Oh, it's green. Oh no, maybe it should be yellow. Oh no, maybe it's orange. Oh, I don't know. Like, you know, it's just whatever the first thing is that pops into your imagination, that's it. Trust it. Don't second guess it. It's not whatever the second or the third one is. It's the first thing that pops into your mind, always. Before the ego comes in, you know, your subconscious and your higher self will come in and go, here's your answer. And then your ego mind will come in and want to second guess everything. We don't want to listen to that one. So always listening to the very, very first juicy bit of info that comes through for you.
Yeah. Look, color is super powerful in pranic healing. We literally color, everything's color, and different shades of color. So I know color's pretty, and that's what fashion is. You know, literally every year there's a color palette that the fashion world goes by, and we can get it in that realm. Like, I feel I've got a black jumper, I've got a blue jumper, that kind of thing. But actually color has so many healing benefits and very undervalued. There's a reason why nature's green. You know, like there is a reason why forest therapy and forest bathing are so critically acclaimed as healing tools in Japan and around the world, but started there. That's no mistake. And the sun being yellow, you know, like it sounds so basic, but when you really grasp it and like embrace it, it's like, oh, hells yeah, I've got a green thing, I can do that. Or I've got a yellow thing or a red thing or an orange thing, I can do that. Mandarins are orange. I mean, you know, everyone's got a mandarin in their house. But it's just so important to use the tools around you. You don't need a lot of bells and whistles to be able to do this work. You've got the manual now. Like, we really encourage you to use it.
You can even like, you know, just open up to the page and go, you know, dirt, you know, like, so like Nevi mentioned, eat it, look at it, just think it, visualize it. If you know how to do like self muscle testing or anything, you can muscle test which the meaning is, and, you know, get the awareness that way. You know, if you do like Reiki or other forms of energy healing, you know, like, you know, really focus on the energy being different colors, and you'll actually notice that the energy that you feel coming out of your hands actually feels like a different frequency when you're doing it with different colors, to rather than just doing like, you know, healing gold all the time. When you're actually healing with green light and blue light and things like that, as you do in pranic healing as well, you actually can really feel the difference in energy coming out of your hands, you know, hot, cold, thinner, denser. Like, it's really cool to actually play around with that as well.
So good. I love it. I think over the years, I've probably come to love this almost the most, you know, in a way, because it's just all around us. And once you start to tune in to colors and what they can do, you just notice it. You notice what you're drawn to more. Even you might start buying more things in your wardrobe. You're going through a certain time in your life in that particular color. So yeah, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
And that's another way you can look up the meaning, right? So it's like, okay, why am I being drawn to, I need to wear red today?
Oh, yeah.
Why do I want to wear black today? Why do I want to wear lilac today, or whatever the color is? You know, you might find certain periods where, you know, you only want to wear a certain color, and it's your intuition is actually drawing you to that color for a reason, because that's what it actually needs to balance your energy system, right? So really interesting to just be like, did I really feel I had to wear green today, or I had to wear blue today? And then read the meanings of why. And then you can check in with yourself and go, okay, it's clearing this. So where have I got this going on in my life? What do I need to look at? What do I need to change and improve?
Yeah, so good. Very good. Anything else on colour that we might have missed? I think we haven't, but just in case.
I think that's good.
Okay, good. So the next section of the manual is our self-love tips. There may be nothing new you've seen in here, but honestly, we've, you know, might have looked at this content hundreds of times, but I always learn something new, because there's something that's more important to me now than it was the last time I may have read it. And so we always invite everyone, which we always ask, is just to sometimes look at things newly. You might be that there's an author we've mentioned and you haven't thought to look at them, like Bruce Lipton, who we also another obsession, hashtag obsession, is Bruce Lipton. So you might want to go off and read his books and his literature. Amazing. But the big thing about self-love, of course, because we need to have the love coming out of us first before we can give it to anybody else. But also, why wouldn't you want to love the most important person in the world, you, first and foremost? And there's a lot of juicy content in here. For example, like your pebbles analogy, which I think is amazing.
Okay. So I always say, you know, like the universe loves to throw some pebbles at you. So your pebble might be, you stub your toe, you get a bit of a headache, you're a bit run down, you're a bit tired, right? And then it throws rock at you. And so it's like, then you've got a cold or a flu and you're in bed for a week or so with, you know, with the virus. It's, you know, it's really giving you these messages and you haven't listened to the little mini messages. So it's going to give you a bigger one. And then you just keep pushing on through and not making any other changes in your life. And the next thing you know, you get slapped with a brick. And that's when you break your bloody ankle, or, you know, you get some really acute illness, and, you know, the universe makes things, your body makes things happen in such a way you have no choice but to listen. You just have to stop and you have to make changes and you have to listen. And if you look back at your life, I know when I look back at my life, there was plenty of warnings of the pebbles and the rocks before I ever got to any of the bricks in my life. But I didn't listen. I just kept pushing on through and pushing on through and pushing on through. And, you know, now I'm so aware. Now when I start getting the pebbles and the rocks, I'm like, ooh, got to make some changes. Pull back here. I'm pushing myself too far. I listen. So it's really important that you do listen, because if you don't listen to the pebbles and the rocks, you're going to end up with the big catastrophic stuff. that happens in your life to make you change.
We take our bodies for granted way too much. So a little ailment might be no big deal, but if, you'll notice we'll loop back to things we've mentioned before. A little ailment is an emotional, hello, something's happening and you haven't listened. So no problem, a little one, but when the brick comes, there's going to be a problem. And you don't have to get there. Like, you really don't. Now, don't think we haven't tasted our own medicine in this respect many times, because we're on automatic pilot when life goes back to normal, and until, the recent months, we are flat chat. So knowing these tips really does reduce anything like this coming on, in the sense of like what it could be for somebody else who's completely oblivious and not caring about tuning in to these aspects. And such a big thing about allowing the body to tell you what's happening is also that conversation around negative self-talk and who you have around you, because a negative self-talk can be the start of an avalanche. I was going to say an S show, but you know what I mean, of like of like the explosion of here you go. If you want to talk negatively about yourself, no worries. But self-love has no room for that, because you are like, you really are like that line from Samantha we love. I love you, but I love me more is really the mantra that every human needs to have. It's not saying I don't love my daughter or my sister or, a partner. That's not what it is. It's, Belle has this saying I love, always put your own life mask on first. There could be no truer saying. I love you, I love me more. Put your own life mask on first. Everything will emanate from that. You might be like, duh, yeah, I know that. I do it all the time. But do you?
If you give so much to everybody else around you that you're left empty, then at the end of the day, eventually you will just become tired and run down, and then you've got nothing left to give. Or you might end up, starting to resent these people that you love and care for, But when you love yourself first and you're giving from this overflowing, really full cup, then you've got plenty to give to everybody else with lots of love and appreciation and gratitude.
So true. And you become a better human for it anyway, but then you just love yourself more, and that negative self-talk less every day. So over the years, we've amassed many tips, some of which you might all do a lot. Maybe you've never heard of some of them, but they're on those following pages about our self-love tips, like never stop expanding yourself, listen to music to lift your vibe, dance around the house like a crazy person, sing out loud, go forest bathing, which is forest therapy, in other words. So sometimes people think I mean go to the forest and have a shower, but it just means being in nature and breathing, catching, having your breath and being with the plants and the trees, because of the beautiful chemicals that they let off that actually reduces our stress levels. Little things like that. Not being perfect. If there's anything more truer to say in the area of self-love, is kick perfect to the curb. I know, because I have suffered from that for many years.
Same.
It took many years to reverse that one. Doesn't mean I don't have high standards anymore, and I'm ambitious and all that stuff, but perfect is strangling, it's stifling, and
it doesn't exist. You're striving for the absolute impossible, because it doesn't exist. So you're never going to get it. You're never going to get there, and you're never going to be satisfied, and you're always going to be lacking, and it's always going to hurt at the end of the day.
Nature's imperfect, so are we, and that's the time I started to embrace imperfection.
We're
is knowing
perfectly
nature.
imperfect.
My favorite.
Yeah.
I just think there could be no better way to look at that crazy box we sometimes put ourselves in with perfection. Perfectly imperfect. Brilliant. What else do we have here? There's obvious ones. We'll talk more about meditation later. But, how about just watch a funny movie every now and again? There really needs to be more time in the madness to go and do just those silly things. And it could be hula hooping, which is a thing.
That's good. That's my new hobby. She bought me a hula hoop for my birthday.
Which I'm like, I might get myself one too.
I need more fun and play in my life. Fun and play is just so important. You can do all the meditating and all the yoga in the world. You really can. And you can do all of this self-love, self-care stuff. But if you're not like having joy and fun and play in your life, there's only a limit to how much any of that's going to actually really work as well. Like, it's so important to laugh and smile and play and be silly, you know, and not have life just be this serious business all the time. You know, laughing lifts your vibration so high. And, you know, when you're at that really high vibration, not only are you feeling well, but then you're in that radio frequency to the universe of abundance and synchronicities and amazing relationships and fun. And, you know, like life's just, it's expansive, you know, and abundance and joy really go hand in hand. You know, when you're really joyful in your life and you've got that joyful vibration, that's when everything else starts to flow into your life. So finding things that give you joy should be like top of this any self-care list. Like for me, it's like above doing the meditation and the yoga and the things like that. It's like, what's fun, what's play, and what's going to make you smile and what's going to make you laugh. Like for me, I love singing and dancing around my house. Like, you know, I have the music cranking and I dance around my lounge room and I just don't care. And I have the best time ever. If I'm in a bad mood, like literally, or I've had a really intense day, or like I've had like lots of healing clients having breakdowns and I'm feeling a bit, I like just put on some really happy favorite tunes and I blast it with some sage and I just sing and I dance. And then, you know, within 3 songs, I'm like, woo, I'm amazing.
So good. It's good to know what I was going to say, your tool, you know what I mean, what your favorite thing to do is. We'll talk about a self-care plan later, but you got to know. You find out. If you don't know, discover it. Give it a go. Maybe it's just sitting in the corner for an hour a day and reading a book, if that's what your self-care ritual needs to be. Or, you know, if it is like pampering yourself, like we like to do. Pampering for me used to be a thing I did once a year, like a massage. I mean, in that respect, I mean, I used to like getting my nails done and stuff, but treat that whole, what's that saying? You know, the body is the temple seems like such an overused saying, but when you really get that the skin bag here is holding a lot together, number one, but is such a vehicle, is so your vehicle, you do want to give it that extra love and attention and not take it for granted and be putting bad food into it. And when we say bad food, like you don't want to be eating, you know, like canned food every day and
McDonald's,
chips,
KFC, like all that takeout and stuff.
Might taste good for the time, but the vibration of that food, ooh la la. Now listen, we're not here to you know, throw any kind of like, this is the food that we eat down your throat by any means, but just be conscious that it might taste good at the time. And yes, I can tell you that I used to have a big thing about chocolate, and it wasn't always the good chocolate, I can tell you now. But, you know, I did it because I love the taste, but that's because I'm out of tune with my body at the time and I'm not in alignment. And when you're not in alignment, you will start to feed yourself things that it's not doing good things inside. You may never feel it. Like me, I'm an empty vessel when it comes to chocolate. You can give me blocks of it and I won't even feel it. I must be some genetic thing, I'm sure of it. It's bad, right? But if I can get real with myself during those times, it's because I'm not connected, and then I'm just eating on autopilot. But then of course what suffers is the body and my insides.
And not even just junk food, just eating organic high vibe foods and not, you know, having all the pesticides and things like that. That makes a huge difference to the body when the body's fighting off all those toxins and poisons all the time.
Big, huge.
Yeah.
There is a thing called the Clean 15 around still, right?
Yeah.
You can look up, and there are some vegetables and fruits you can buy that don't need to be organic, but mostly the things that, you know, have the skin where they're getting sprayed and et cetera, especially salad, things like that. You really want to try and buy organic as much as possible.
Because again, low frequency disease. Yeah. What else? Oh, this is the other one I love on here so much. I don't know, I've been talking so much today. The value your strengths. Now, this is another thing that not everyone does enough of, is valuing your strengths. You know, we're so quick and easy to be our biggest, harshest critic and let the inner mean girl or mean guy come out. And it's so important to just really take time to think about how far you've actually come and really appreciate yourself and be so grateful for all the great things that you do, instead of just focusing on the 1 or 2 things that you might not be so great at or can't do. What are the like 20 things or 50 things that you can do that are amazing? You know, like life might be a bit hard at the moment and not so great. Instead of focusing on all the reasons why it's not so great, what are all the wonderful reasons why you are great or your life is great?
Well, you're great. I love that. We don't do that enough, acknowledge ourselves, do we?
No, we don't.
We often either wait for others to do it, seek validation, but we can actually give it to ourselves. When you're flat on how good you are for yourself, it sounds like a funny thing to say. When you're flat about that, nothing else will tend to penetrate, or things won't get to you, won't need it from outside sources as such. It's different when you like it and you're still flat on it. That's different. But yeah, it's really important to embrace that. It's a good pick.
And like life always happens, right? So we're always going to have some stuff to react to, but it's a matter of how we actually react to it, right? And how we actually choose to move through things. Like we still have things happening for us in our lives, and big life changes and things happen, but we don't go downhill. We don't go into victim consciousness. We're still solution focused. Okay, we're like, okay, this has happened. Let's feel it. Let it come out. Let's process the emotion, and then, okay, what are we going to do now to move on from this? We don't stay in it. We don't stay stuck in it, which is some people can really, just get into the victim, poor me thing and just stay really stuck in something instead of, okay, there's some people just try and be too positive all the time as well. And, it's like, it's okay to cry. It's okay to be sad. It's okay to not be fine. And don't apologize for it. Feel angry, feel mad, feel resentful. Let it come out. Let all those feelings come out. They need to be processed. You can't just tuck them down in your body and pretend they don't exist, because then they're just going to store as toxic emotion and manifest later as, the C word or something else, right? So you want to feel them and express them, but then you want to move on from them and not stay stuck there. And that's what all these tools are about. It's like, you don't want to get to the point where you think life's always going to have to be perfect and you're never going to have problems. You're still going to have problems, but how are you actually going to deal with those problems? Feel it, heal it, process it, move on, find the tools to pull you out of it and lift your vibration back out of it. I had a beautiful client today, has gone through some stuff lately and was, sort of being hard on herself. And I was like, wow, look at how far you've come. I'm like, old you 2 years ago, if this same, situation would have happened, you would have been like binge eating and binge drinking, and life would have just gone on this downhill spiral. And, some epically challenging things have gone on in her life. And, she's like dealt with it like a champion. And I was like, look at how far you've come. And this is an example of where, she didn't see the value in how much she's changed and how far she's come and how she's overcoming these epic problems now in such a different way to what she used to years ago. So, it's really important when we are stuck in it to value yourself and value how far you've come. It's really important, because it's so easy just to be hard on yourself and be like, well, I'm unhappy because this happened. And it's like, okay, be unhappy. Stuff happens in life.
There's something wrong.
Don't stay there.
Something wrong with me. What's wrong? What have I done? I'm not worthy. I'm not this. I'm not that. Yeah, that can come in pretty quick, can't it? When things go sideways.
Why is this happening to me?
Oh, my favourite. Why is this happening to me? Yeah. Best one. Why me? But I'm such a good person.
Whereas I say, how did I manifest this into my life? All right. Because I know I'm the creator of my own destiny and I manifest everything into my life. It's like, okay, why have I manifested this into my life? And what can I learn from this situation?
Even like when my car windscreen cracked, I'm like, what am I not seeing clearly about? Yeah, it's like, you can laugh at that, but energy's everywhere, remember. We are connected to everything. So it's kind of a good cookie way to be.
Everything's a metaphor. My taps have been leaking. So I'm like, okay, what's overflowing in my life or needs to overflow in my life? Like, everything's a metaphor. Everything.
Because we're connected to those objects. They may not be living in the sense of have a heart and lungs and everything like that, but they're still, the atoms are moving. So there's still energy happening in everything. So yeah, it's a good thing to remember. And just on the back of what you said, it's that premise of that idea we have in here about giving love to receive love. So it's all good and to be like, I love myself, I love you, but I love me more. But then also what's beautiful is actually generating love for others and for situations that aren't going well, but actually practicing from the heart. And that can be like a heart meditation, learning how to tune into your heart space and coming from that rather than your logic all the time. But when you give love, honestly, you will know it all, right? You've done it 1,000 times, no doubt. How much more do you receive love back? It's very different to being shut off, like as a human, isn't it? Just shut off, barricaded, nah, don't want to know about it compared to being able to soften and allow. And often love is the source of that. It doesn't just mean like love in a partner necessarily. I mean, you know, there's lots of love.
Like best friend love.
Well, that could have been like a little photo we just took. Look like one of our selfies. But yeah, it's really important to remember to do that. Self-love can be given to others. Just checking our list and making sure. We'll cover some other things further down, like breathing and meditation, getting creative, relationships. That was the other one. I mean, it could not be any truer that you are a reflection of the people you hang out with. Relationships can also mean those boundaries, which some of us are not willing to put up because we really love the person, even though they really overstep the boundary way too many times. But boundaries can be healthy for both people. They don't have to mean like a no or I'm cutting you off. Healthy boundaries are wonderful. And it really is not a matter of survival or self-preservation. It's a boundary, and, you know, it can be created sometimes with the other person.
You're teaching people how to treat you, and you're teaching people, you know, how you feel about yourself and how you know that you deserve to be treated. So it's really important to not let people just keep walking all over you and manipulating you and stuff like that. And having enough self-love and self-respect to be like, no, that's not healthy for me. I'm sorry. And the people that really love you and care about you will respect your boundaries, and they will honor them, and they will be there, and the dynamics of the relationship will change, and it will be amazing. And the people that don't want to honor it because it doesn't suit them, they're energetically draining you and manipulating you and using you at the end of the day. And it's best they, you know, like, walk on out of your life if they can't respect your boundaries, and that's okay. Yeah. And I know it's hard, but that's okay. Like, you really need to preserve your own energy and really look after your own energy. It's really, really important.
Not always easy, but so important. Like, there could be not a self-love is really fundamentally that, because we do give, I think everyone probably experiences giving a lot to other people. We forget to do it ourselves, but that's also about saying no, which we've mentioned in the manual. Maybe we say no too much, or honestly, some of us don't say no anywhere near enough, and doesn't seem like the end of the world until you're depleted and you've got nothing left for yourself. So yeah, definitely okay to
learn to say no. And I also liked what you were saying about this, the other thing about relationships where you can learn a lot about yourself and your spiritual evolution and journey is they do say that, you know, everyone that's in our lives is a mirror of us. It's a projection. So what you don't like in someone else is something in you that you don't like. So if you feel like someone's, say, being rude to you, it's like, well, where am I being rude to others? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, so yeah, what you see in other people is obviously a lot of the time it's something that you're not liking within yourself, and that person is actually mirroring that to you. So, you know, a lot of people, like, they get angry at someone because, you know, they've lied or something, but they're angry at that part in themselves where they lie to themselves or they lie to other people. So, you know, if you're looking at relationships around you and certain things are happening and coming up for you, and especially if you have lots of relationships throughout your past where the dynamics are actually replaying in certain patterns again and again and again, I would look at, you know, it's like, okay, where do you need to be more honest in yourself or kinder to yourself or whatever it is? Like, if someone's being mean to you, where are you being mean to yourself, or where are you being mean to other people? I see this happen. Happens a lot, right? Someone's really angry at someone for judging them, and then they spend all this time judging back. And it's like, okay, you're angry at others for judging you, but then you've just sat here and bitched to me and been judging other people. You know what I mean? So, you know, things like that happen all the time where someone really, really mirrors that, you know, stuff. You know, so-and-so was mean to me, but and they're a bitch, but then they'll be bitchy back. So it's like, you know, if you're upset with seeing a behavior around you, look at where you're doing that in your life as well. Where is there an imbalance of that for you?
Always someone triggers you because there's something. Always, come on, seriously. Especially with my sister, love her, but you know, there's always something. Constantly growing, chose her for a reason. Yeah. Love you. Yeah, but you know, always the ones that are closest to you are the ones that push the buttons more, or your work colleagues or something.
And you're triggered because it's stuff that you need to heal and you need to work through.
What gift is that? Such a gift.
Feels like it when you're working through it, doesn't it?
Like swallowing broken glass. Ever done that? I haven't, but it feels like it. So just making sure there isn't anything else. Are you all welcome to ask questions, of course. Oh yeah, bath time. I mean, when's the last time you had a lovely bath for a bit of a self-love ritual with your candles and your essential oils and some tunes and just your own time, if that's what you like to do, or read. I mean, water, such a beautiful, beautiful element to be a part of and to let go. And Epsom
cleansing. Yeah, I like to do a ritual in the bath where, while I'm in the salt bath, because it's detoxing on a physical level, and it's also detoxing and cleansing on an energetic level. And so I actually like to, when I'm in the bath, I like to visualize cutting all the cords, like to all other people. And then I also like to visualize anything that I would like to let go of. So, okay, it's like, okay, well, you know, when I let go of, my mum triggered me. I'm a bit angry and resentful. I was snippy at this person. Don't like myself for that. Or, whatever. So, okay, I want to be more kind and compassionate and get rid of the inner mean girl. And then when I take out the bath water, I envision all of that stuff that I want to release, with all the cords of attachment from all other people, and then all the toxic emotions that have come up for me that I want to release. And I just visualize it all going down the drain. And I get out of there like a whole new person. It's amazing.
Baths are so good. And sometimes we don't have time for a bath, but how about just when you have a shower in the morning or the night, just having that be your time to be mindful and think nothing else other than being in the shower. The water cleansing your body, cleansing away the day, or cleansing you to be ready for the day. Just be mindful and in the moment. And mindfulness is one of the things we'll talk about in a moment, but anyone can do it in any moment. So have it be when you're like stealing time from the world, which is those little bits of the day where you get to just hopefully be on your own. I mean, some of you might have children where you're not ever on your own. So we understand, we get that. But, just kind of think a little bit creatively about those things.
Yes, like shower time's amazing for cleansing. And, if you're working with angels and guides and things like that, call them in and have a happy shower together and get them to clean everything away. And also a really nice time to set your intention for the day. What do you want your day to look like? How do you want it to be? Visualize your day ahead while you're in the shower, working out perfectly and amazingly. Put the intention out to the universe to have a joyful, happy, amazing day.
It's my favorite thing to do.
Put it out to have surprises sometimes, you know?
Yes. Imagining every event of your day turning out exactly how you want it and then being grateful for it. It's such an easy exercise to do, can totally be done in shower time in the morning.
So easy. Instead of like thinking about, oh my God, okay, what am I going to wear? Or I need to go to the supermarket today or whatever. Like, just tuning in for a minute and just tuning into you and your body and what you need in that moment, and cleansing and just focusing on some beautiful, positive things. Consciously, like giving yourself love and washing your body. Like, I'm washing my body and being really conscious about it. That can be like a moving, mindful meditation.
Yes.
It's just being conscious of giving yourself that time.
We're so funny, aren't we? It's all good and proper to say it at one point, but the rubber will hit the road when you interrupt a pattern that you're used to doing, especially when life will go back to, potentially for some of us, the hectic state that it is after, lockdown completely eases, etc. The easiest thing to do is start small sometimes and not overwhelm. And this is such an easy one, isn't it? So good. And even with mindfulness, as breathing as well. If you don't know pranayama or any other actual yogic breathing exercises, the best thing for you to do is just stop. Oh, you don't necessarily have to stop, but be in the moment, and you breathe in for 4 counts and you breathe out for 4 counts. There's loads of things you can find on the internet about different breathing exercises that can be really simple and don't have to be hold your nostril and, hold your ears and all the crazy things that you can learn. Keep it really simple and give yourself and your body some rest to not constantly.
The box breath. It's in for 4, pause for 4, out for 4, pause for 4. So like visualizing a box.
That's a good way to look at it. Yes.
Yeah.
Lovely. So easy to do. So easy. And that doesn't sound like a self-love technique, but we promise you it is, because the constant fight or flight and crazy autopilot that we're all on doesn't actually allow the body to relax. And if you could just do that a few minutes of the day, you'll be in a much better position when the day finishes.
Yeah, because when our bodies are in fight or flight, which, if you're having like a stressful life all the time, your body's constantly in fight or flight, right? So it's producing adrenaline and it's producing cortisol, and it goes into that survival mode of I'm running away from a lion and a tiger or a bear right now. And so it shuts down all these organs and body systems, and your digestive system and things don't work properly because your body's main focus is just to survive, right? And so when you're in that survival mode, your body actually cannot heal It is physically impossible to be in fight or flight and rest and repair at the same time. So a lot of these exercises that we're giving you are helping you to actually bring your body down out of the fight or flight response, decrease their cortisol levels and the adrenaline being pumped into your body so that your organs can switch on and start working beautifully and harmoniously again, and your body can actually start to heal itself. So, if you've got like something wrong with you, whether, it's a cold or a flu or it's a cancer or whatever, and you've got some kind of dis-ease in your body and your body is stressed all the time, you're in this stressful relationship, that's, you're constantly on edge, or you're really stressed at work, or, you're working 6 million hours and you're not getting downtime, your body over time is just producing more and more and more adrenaline, more and more cortisol. And over time, that's when you start to have, really bad digestive issues and all sorts of other, organs of your body start to shut down over time because they're actually not working. They're really just not working. And that's when it leads to really big, bad chronic illness. So it's really important on a daily basis to check in with yourself and not just let yourself be on autopilot in survival mode, running on adrenaline, because it's very unhealthy. And trust me, I've lived through adrenal fatigue and it's really not fun. And I've learned my lesson the very hard way. And it's really not fun, and it's actually not so easy to heal and come back from when the body gets to that bad. Like it's really not awesome. So check in with yourself daily. If your heart's racing at night and your mind's ticking over 1 million hours and you can't sleep properly, good chances are you've got all that cortisol and adrenaline running through your body. What are you going to do to bring it down so your body can rest and repair?
Super easy.
Super easy. So many ways.
So many ways. Choose one and do it tonight. But we'll give you some kind of semi-fun homework later anyway. So something else we sometimes, depending on our workshops that we do or retreats, we give the exercise that's in your manual about self-appreciation time. And journaling might be something you do all the time, that you're natural at, that you like to do for a bit of stress release. It's an excellent way to release stress. Although we often ask people to write 33 things about themselves, which we have experienced can be very confronting for people, even when they like themselves, because it can actually confront you that perhaps you haven't given yourself enough self-love. So to write 33 things, impossible. It can be quite challenging. And we like people to focus on things about themselves. So not things external to themselves, like how they might have manifested a free coffee for the day, but actual things that they love, like I am generous, I am kind, I am creative, I am adventurous, I am a wonderful teacher, I am a wonderful sister, I love freely, I love unconditionally. Definitely things that you are very proud of yourself, and write those things 33 times. So that's one little
I'm solution
exercise.
focused. I'm intuitive. I trust myself in the universe. Like I have self-respect for my body and make good choices. Like we give it usually in the retreat, and by the end some of the girls have got 200, because we're like, okay, do 33 in the first, and people struggle, and some of them are like, oh my God, I can't even come up with 33 things. And there's been times where honestly people have cried because they're just like, I can't do this. I don't have that many things about themselves. But then by the end of the week you can have like 200, and do you know how powerful it is to have a piece of paper or pages of paper of lists of things that are good about yourself? And then when shit goes down and you're going through a hard time and you're hating on yourself, go and get out your list and you read through it, and you're like, I am generous and I'm kind and I'm strong and I'm optimistic and I'm solution focused. And it's really powerful.
It is. I even have that acknowledgement folder in my emails, my work emails. So acknowledgement is few and far between sometimes in marketing. You only ever get told when things are wrong. So whenever I've had a really lovely acknowledgement written to me from somebody over the years, I keep it in a little folder. And then most recently I had to clean that folder out, and I was crying. I was so present to the amount of just how beautiful it is to have an acknowledgement given to you, but that I was proud of, more to the point. So I didn't keep all of them. I kept the ones I was most proud of, because that does get you represents to who you are. And it's, like I hadn't looked at some of those emails, I kid you not, in 9 years. Like I'd kept the folder going for quite a while. So I've kept them because I think it's important to keep them. But yeah, it's interesting to also ask people to look back on it, like Belle said, from one part of the week, if like we've got a week-long retreat or sometimes it's just a weekend, we ask them to look at it at the start, and if they can't do it, no problem. But by the end, we in 2 days we've seen changes in people, being present to who they really are, and in a week it's extraordinary to see it because it floods through. And what a beautiful gift to give your soul and yourself in just acknowledging who you are for you. Because like we might have mentioned before, the acknowledgement can absolutely come from other people and it's wonderful, but it needs to start with you. You've got to be flat on how much you love yourself, first and foremost. Like you hear people talking about two people coming together, and if they're not both wholes, you know, like if there's like one's maybe a little bit like this and the other person's just filling the hole for them, you know, like anything, if we're looking for people to validate where there's an emptiness, there's never a whole and completeness for ourselves in anything, which can lead to loads of things getting out of whack. All the emotional things we've talked about, the disease, anything like that. So journaling.
And no one else can fill that hole except for you. Like, and so many people do. You crave the relationship and the person, and you need the affirmation and the compliments from the other person, you know, and you're always wanting them to be there for you and love you and adore you or fix things for you, because they're filling what you don't have within yourself, rather than you working on yourself to be this whole and complete, beautiful person. You know, it's about healing from within instead of trying to bring the outside in.
Mm-hmm. Very good. I mean, I've gotten to a point where I look in the mirror every now and again, you know, and be like, you know, you rock, and I'll do it at work. I don't care. I don't care who busts me. I'm not into it. Don't really have much shame. But you know, like I can do it in public as well sometimes, and people have called me. But at the end of the day, it's not about being a big-headed person, or like it's different to that. Like it's just that real self-appreciation, which does take a bit of a muscle to build sometimes so that it can be authentic, and it's not just because you said you're going to do it. And this is all it takes. Start the list tonight, chip away at it, and look at it in a few weeks' time. Just start. We promise you, even if it's in your phone, whatever, but we like the writing because it's beautiful to have the pen on the paper and have things downloading. But you know, just do it. Give it a go. Anything else about the journaling?
No, I love that.
Beautiful. So the last page of the manual before we go on to some more tips was, you're like, that's lovely. They've given us a picture. Self-healing technique, colouring in. We know colouring was really popular years ago. We've been on planes and colouring in first class once in colouring. People are like, okay, weirdos, you're like in your 40s. Fantastic way to do some healing. Because you're using colour, being mindful, not being perfect. Ooh la la, this was good for me, this practice, when it first came out, because I was like, oh no. I haven't bought that colouring book to have someone hack at it with their bad colouring in. Not going to happen. My whole childhood came flooding back about not letting people colour in my things because they were bad at colouring. So it's been wonderful to release that and just go for it, and have a peacock have 50 colours and not blue and purple and green like a peacock.
Yeah, and we do like joint projects together, and we're like, you know, it's all a bit crazy and it's a mishmash, and who cares? We're having a good time.
It's so good.
And we're both like full on ex-perfectionists, like, you know, freaks that would normally be like, this is my picture and it has to be done my way. So for us to collaborate like that together and have such a good time and be like, yeah, okay, you're doing that there, okay, I'll just make that work. You know, that's really big for us.
My heart just feels so good talking about it. I've come such a long way. It's wonderful. Doesn't mean I don't appreciate a good colouring in job, but for me, it's been.
It's about the having fun and play while you're doing it, instead of stressing about what the end. Who cares about the end result? It doesn't matter so much about the end result. It's enjoy the journey and enjoying the process.
So good. Such a lovely thing. Oh, so good. I might get the colouring out book this weekend. Colouring in book out this weekend is what I tried to say.
Sunday, let's do it.
Yeah, it's amazing. Now, some other de-stress techniques and tips we wanted to give you, hence why we asked you to bring a journal and a pen, is shake it all out. We'll just call it shake it out. Shake it out like Tay-Tay.
Shake it out.
Music optional.
Yeah, this is really great. So if you start to feel anxious and like, you know, if you're one of those people that might even get a panic attack or something, seriously, like shake every part of your body. Like, I mean, crazy shake, crazy, every leg, every toe, every bit of your head, and and just go insane, right? And, you know, you try that and do it, I feel better already, for 30 seconds. You do that for 30 seconds to 5 minutes, and I can guarantee you are going to just reset the whole body chemistry of your body, and you're going to feel so much better.
So I've literally had a mental blank on our meditation where we shake the active consciousness one. I can't believe it.
Is it Kundalini? I think it's,
yes.
It's about raising the Kundalini energy up your chakras.
Shaking literally shakes debris out of the chakras, and it can be extremely powerful for some people, like bringing up
stress, emotions, trauma. It shakes it out of your body.
It's phenomenal. It's really great. So yeah, there's definitely a power behind it. And why not put your favourite tune on?
Yeah, it's so fun.
A little bit of Eye of the Tiger, I won't lie. It comes out every now and again. Nothing like a bit of Eye of the Tiger. Yeah, that's a beautiful one. And we also wanted to share some whole brain posture techniques like cross crawl. So this might be also...
should we explain why first?
Yeah, actually that's a good
point. So some brain gym. So... when we're stressed, right, we're often either thinking from our left brain or we're thinking from our right brain, right? So you can be too much like, you know, in the feminine and just too emotional and stuff, or you can be too like hard and logical and things like that, and too much in fear or ego. So what happens is, if these exercises we're about to give you, these brain gym exercises, what that is, it connects the two parts of the brain together. So you're connecting the left and the right hemisphere together to become whole brained. And then that balances your corpus callosum, right?
Which is right in the middle.
So with the corpus callosum activated in the whole brain, what that does, it produces solution-focused thinking. So instead of being too much one way or too much the other, you are literally thinking about a problem, an issue, a stress with your whole brain. It will allow you to see things you could not previously see before. You will see things from a different way, in a different perspective, and a different destination, and you'll just all of a sudden have different answers to your problems.
You become more effective at dealing with things too. So like Belle was explaining, left and right brain can elicit different actions depending on the hemisphere you are intrinsically come from. If you're hit with a trigger of some sort, or something is going down in your life and you are just reacting from past-based experiences via the subconscious. It's a beautiful thing to know, and it can be shocking as well, because you're like, no, I deal with things pretty well. But generally, it's all a subconscious running the show anyway. As if you didn't know already, it is. That's probably the big news of lifetime, that 95% of our days actually run by the subconscious mind, and only 5% is run by the conscious mind. So it's a bit of a wake-up call, knowing that then there's, you know, left brain, right brain reaction to life. So brain gym, really handy, really handy tool to have.
Yep. You can join and do the demo.
Oh, I was going to say, who's going to do the demo? Okay, excellent.
Your turn.
Right, so there's one called cross crawls, and cross crawls are literally opposite to opposite. So it doesn't matter which one you do or start with. It's just opposite hand to opposite knee, like this.
And so because you're crossing the midline of the body, that actually works on connecting the hemispheres of the brain together. So you would need to do at least 10, probably more like 15 or 20, but you'll know, like, you can actually feel it. Like when you start doing it, a lot of the time it can feel a little bit awkward or clumsy or weird. You could get a bit puzzled. And then all of a sudden it's just going to click and it's going to feel easy. Like you're going to be like, oh, what's happening here? Oh yeah, you know, it's going to feel a bit clunky. And then all of a sudden you'll be like, yeah, I've got this. And then you're like, you know, like you're ready and it's cool. Right?
So opposite hand to knee, opposite hand to knee.
And the other beautiful way that you can create a whole brain posture is to cross your one leg over the top of the other. It's hard to show, isn't it, with the computer? Can you see? So you cross one leg on top.
I don't know how good of an angle that is, my friend.
Cross one leg on top of the other, just like you're crossing your legs, right? And then you're going to cross your hands over. And so then you can either rest it in your lap like that, or you can flick it around up like that. And so because both parts of your body are crossed, you're actually creating a figure 8. This one is actually really great to do if you're really stressed. So you can just sit there and close your eyes and just think about whatever's going on in your life, and just until the stressful situation has released. So this is a really good way to deal with stress and anxiety. So just sitting like that, you know, you might be like upset, angry, mad, crying, whatever it is, and just sit like this for as long as it takes, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, until you feel some peace and calm, until both of those parts of your brain are become whole-brained and you become calm and peaceful and solution focused.
So don't forget to cross your legs as well and breathe. The 4 counts.
So it doesn't matter which way, as long as it's, so it doesn't matter if it's left over right or right over left, just intuitively, whatever feels right, just cross one way or the other, and then the other way with your hands.
Easy, really good to do. I sometimes do it under the table in a meeting, so people can't see it. It's just on my lap and I'm crossed at the ankles. That's always really helpful. And then, you know, I don't have to breathe loudly like I do at yoga or something, like, I just, you know.
What was that, a Darth Vader?
I know, whatever. You know how we do the,
that will jar your breath.
Thank you, jar your breath. I'm like, I'm a good Darth Vader, but you can't do that in a meeting. It's orcs. It's orcs. So yeah, you can do it anywhere. Don't think it has to be at home on your own. There's ways you can be out in the world doing these things, these self-love techniques.
And yeah, the ESR, I mean, that's easy enough to do sometimes when you're out and about as well.
100%, you know? Absolutely. De-stressing is possible anywhere, anytime, not just when we're in the comfort of our own home. So you can get creative with it. And self-healing, I said self-love before, I meant self-healing techniques. Different types of meditation. I mean, gee whiz, every meditation is like going to buy a loaf of gluten-free bread or something these days. Like, everybody does it, but you've got to remember there's so many different types of meditation. You can do guided meditation, silent meditation, active consciousness meditation, which is one that we teach, that we're teachers of, but where there's movement and often dance and lots of different things together. Sometimes meditation sitting still doesn't work for people. So it's wonderful to have a breadth of knowledge about all the different kinds. And probably one of our most favorite, which is completely overlooked, is just mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness when you're eating. This is one of our favorite practices from when we did our meditation teacher training. Every lunchtime for 1 and a bit hours, we were asked to mindfully meditate and eat. I think I spend most of my lunchtimes crying because I usually talk while I'm eating. I'm at lunch at work or you're with friends, and to get present to the sounds, crunching, and the sounds of nature around us, and just being with other people in silence was literally bringing me to tears every day. I'm not saying that's going to happen to you, but just try it. Try half an hour, 20 minutes of mindful eating.
We were so confronted by it on orientation day when she goes, now, you get in there and you've got silent meditation, and then it went into guided and sound and all sorts of things or whatever. And then all of your lunches are silent. And we're like looking at each other like, what do you mean we can't pretty much talk all day? Like, what do you mean we can't talk?
But that's the time that we bond and when we ask questions.
We've got all these cool, new, interesting people that we're desperate to meet and ask questions. And what do you mean we can't? And we were actually very confronted about it. We didn't think it was a very good idea at all. And if someone had suggested to me to mindful eat, I'd be like, no, I'm skipping that bit. But I do encourage you to actually do try it, because like Nebby said, we loved it. We loved eating. The food digested better. The food felt better.
It tasted better.
It tasted better. Like it was really amazing to just be present with your food.
Oh, it's a phenomenal concept, bringing awareness. That's what mindfulness is, which you probably already know, but bringing awareness back to the present moment. And it's something we don't do. Peel a mandarin, wash the dishes. All it means is bringing your awareness back to the present moment. And that is where life happens, in the present, not in the past, not in the future. And little, like the shower example before as well, or being in the bath, that's all mindfulness. It's meditation. It's happening. You don't have to be a guru to be meditating. It's very simple to do it all the time. And that's so effective with everything we've spoken about in bringing the cortisol down, bringing you back to balance, assisting your body with any self-healing that it needs, is not having our mind constantly going 100 miles an hour. And it does need to sometimes. We have, jobs and families and whatever it is. Cut yourself some slack and mindfully peel a mandarin tomorrow or whatever it is you want to do. Mindfully peel a banana, I don't care.
Mindfully wash the dishes.
Choose a fruit.
I read that book, The Miracle of Mindfulness. Oh my God, I love that book so much. And he was talking about wash the dishes to wash the dishes. While you're washing the dishes, be present with them.
Yes.
Rather than washing the dishes, thinking about the 20 other things that you've got to do next. Or if you're going to have your cup of tea, drink the cup of tea to have the cup of tea. Don't drink the cup of tea going, all right, I'm going to buy this from the shops, I'm going to clean this next, I'm going to do this next. Like, be mindful and just drink your cup of tea. Because he says that when you're so focused on the future all the time, you're not actually living. So it's only in the moments where we're actually present are we actually living. And if you're always just thinking about the to-do list and thinking about the future, you're not really living. You're always forward instead of being in the present moment.
Oh, it's so true. And that's all prana. It's all life force energy. Breathing is bringing in prana and life force energy. So mindfulness and breathing can be super powerful. Maybe you want to do it in bed for 3 minutes with an essential oil in the morning and do something like, it's even that practice of just being in bed and not going 1,000 miles an hour about what's next. Just be creative. Like, hopefully we've given you a million ideas about, or not a million, but let's say 50 ideas about the ways you can incorporate it into your life, because nothing needs to be hard. We're really into ease and grace, particularly at the moment where life went completely the other way in March and flipped everything on its head. We like ease and grace. Just, incorporate it into life, make it smooth. So I thought about this one yesterday. This is an interesting one. So you may have heard of the Hawaiian technique called Ho'oponopono. So if you look it up and just Google, even if you can't spell it, Ho'oponopono is kind of how you say it in Australian, Opono. So I was like, how am I going to explain it? Because I might say it too fast. So Ho'oponopono is a beautiful act that the Hawaiians have done. It's gone for centuries, and it's really about forgiveness and clearing away negativity. And it's so easy to do, but it's extremely powerful. So I'll slowly tell you the 4 things it is that you need to say. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you. I love you. You can do it 108 times like you would with mala beads, if that makes you feel good. But often it's good to bring a situation to mind and do the Ho'oponopono and just repeat those things silently or out loud, and you watch things shift. There are so many recordings on YouTube.
We found some good ones, didn't we?
We found some great ones. Some we didn't like because, the voice, the person narrating is, sometimes, but we found a lady, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh yeah, she was amazing.
She was excellent. And it's nice to be guided with that one sometimes, because you might stop or lose track, but it is such a simple technique. And it's kind of like, what's that thing called when it's from another language to another language? Translated as, sorry, I'm having trouble with my words today. Translated as like, not just forgiveness, but making right. So in a way, so there could be a situation, a person, a relationship, maybe your relationship to yourself, given we're talking about self-healing, and you want to do the Ho'oponopono. It's really beautiful. What else? Oh, self-care plan. The final one. Our favorite thing. One of our favorite things. How can we have one favorite thing?
Well, this is our thing that sort of pulls together all the other things, really.
Self-care plan. Now, I wanted to bring down the one from my board that I wrote just when Rona started. Not that you need to see it, but I got a piece of paper. It didn't look perfect, but I had color because I like color. So a nice bright pink pen. And I wrote a little self-care plan about how to start to make sure that my life was fulfilled and my cup was filled. Sorry, when I say Rona, it's our word for the COVID-19, because we thought we'd best make friends with Rona. Otherwise, we're going to be pushing it away, and we don't want to make it an issue. We had to embrace what was happening. And at the time, so this one will definitely need to be rejigged now, because I can see this was absolutely the start of it. So there was a love recording I had that I wanted to listen to, that I've recorded about myself from a healing I had. And the whole idea was to listen to the recording, smell an oil, have 2 coffee Zoom sessions with some friends during the week, because at the time we were in isolation. Read 2 hours a week. Listen to some regeneration music. Do some Psych K balances on ourselves. So sometimes we might teach or do things in work, but don't ever do them for myself. Have a different oil every day that I diffused. Go outside and walk, even if it was on my own, at least 3 times a week. Now, none of that stuff sounds, heart rate dance on a Monday night, of course. None of that stuff sounds groundbreaking. But let me tell you, like you might remember, it took a lot to pull yourself out and forth into this new world called everything's on Zoom, everything's inside. Mood started to swing, which is not something I tend to experience a lot of, but it was the self-care plan that had a situation really turn itself around because there was structure, and I knew that would fill my cup. And it doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. It only needs to make sense to you about what fills your cup.
Yeah.
In all of these self-care and self-healing tips that we've given. But we highly recommend you write one out. Totally up to you, the frequency, but think about it. Is it once a week? Is it twice a week? And will you have this go for a month? Or are you the kind of person that will have it go for a week and then reassess? Just consider there's different ways to approach it, but having a plan and having it visible, so on the kitchen fridge or in your room or on the back of the door, somewhere where it's in context consistently for you. So it's not just a good idea, but it's something that you do all the time.
And then some of it, you end up doing it all the time. It just becomes like brushing your teeth. Like, for us, we're so into the gratitude. Like for me, I wake up every morning and I write my 10 blessings. And then something that I got out of my yoga teacher training was they got us to write, I am, 3 of those things every day. So it could either be something that you're actually feeling in that day. So if you're feeling good, it's like, I feel joyful or something. Or maybe you're feeling tired and it's something you want to bring in. So you want to be like, I am energetic. So, your I am statements are really powerful, and it can be about what you want to actually bring in for yourself. And it's a really nice way to start the day, 10 things that you're really grateful for. What are you grateful for? That you woke up, that you're alive, that you've got electricity to make yourself a cup of tea. What are you grateful for? That you've got a job to have that day, that you've woken up to the love of your life next to you, that you've got these gorgeous pets around you. What are you grateful for? Start your day off in a vibration of appreciation, and then bringing in the I am. What do you want in your life? That sounded so cheesy. I just came out of my mouth.
No, it's cute. I just,
and then, for me, I like to meditate and do things like that. It's like, what's your morning thing that, I like singing mantras. So I'm not so great either at the silent meditation. So that's not my thing either. We love the active consciousness thing. And I love singing mantras. So for me, I sing mantras every morning, which are like prayers to the universe. That's my meditation. And do like the 108 times Goddess Lakshmi and things like that. But otherwise, things like the Gayatri mantra and things like that. I love singing my mantras.
Oh, the nourishing. It's about whatever nourishes you. And it's okay if you don't want to hang out, with your best friend, or, you've got to hang out with yourself. I guess you've got no choice. Because I love Belle, but it's not about that. You've just got to so love you first and foremost, and write a little self-care plan that might actually even include this week that you might start to, buy some more organic vegetables and make one meal at home rather than eating out all the time. It doesn't need to be overwhelming, and it might only have 3 things on it.
Yeah, baby steps. Like if you can commit to one walk or one healthy meal or something like that. Baby steps. Doesn't have to be big.
Choose 3 things from the manual that we've sent and start there, if they're the ones that resonate with you, of course, and start there. Just start somewhere. Often the starting is a thing that gets me. So that's why I started straight away, because I always think things are a good idea. But then life happens.
One big recommendation, like from tonight, if you're going to take anything from tonight, I would definitely do the 33 things that you love about yourself exercise and play around with that color. The color therapy is something that can heal you for the rest of your life and is so easy. Like play around with color.
If you haven't read it already, the few pages that are on color, or 3 or 4, please do. And then we always recommend, of course, which most of us do these days, is Google and research it yourself, because it's a world once you enter, there's so much juice around it, and it's wonderful because, you talk about it to other people who may know nothing about color and color therapy, and then you've given them a gift as well. So that's, I don't know, I think sometimes that's a self-healing thing in itself, isn't it? When you get to share what you know with other people. Yeah, it's always very gratifying. We can do two things right now. Complete it, stop the recording, take questions, or take questions now if anybody has any.
Do you guys have questions?
But we'd love to hear them if you've got any, and we've got plenty of time. You can ask any question that might sound crazy, silly, or maybe there's something you want us to repeat from what we've said tonight that, yeah, you'd like us to just go over again or anything. So yeah, if you do have anything, you're welcome to just take yourself off mute and ask the question. And if you do feel like you don't want to be, I was going to say I can't stop recording. And there is no silly question with us, like there just never is. So please feel like you can ask anything. Or do you feel like maybe you're stopped in a certain area and you wouldn't know how to do one of the self-healing tips and you'd like to start it? Like maybe that's another place you can come from.
No one? Anyone?
Cool. Okay.
No questions? Okay.
Super. Excellent. All right. Well, we are always available if you want to ask a question on our email. We're on Facebook and Instagram at Soulful Tribes. You can always DM us or PM us or write on the bottom of a post. We'll reply to it pretty quickly. And did I say the email? If I didn't, you've already got it. You've got our email from the event. So please just send us an email if you ever want to know anything. We love continuing the interaction and sharing things, and don't ever feel like if it's even 2 weeks down the track, you can't email us. You know, we'd really love it. If you are ever interested in doing any other courses with us, they're always going to be on Facebook first and foremost. So that Soulful Tribes page. And we do have, how many spots left for Reiki 1?
One. Ooh, one lucky spot left.
Only one left.
Yeah.
Exciting. Reiki 1's our next online program. We, unfortunately, with the situation that the world has found itself in, have stopped doing face-to-face for a little while. And so we're taking Reiki online, and the Reiki 1 program is starting on the 24th of June. So one spot, and anything else we'll post as we normally do. And hopefully we can, there will be a point soon where we can start doing face-to-face workshops and retreats again, which will be very exciting. And we will be putting up a YouTube channel soon. So yeah, there will be other educational videos and tips and just anything we can shoot a video. We're going to do. So yes, if there's definitely no questions, and I'll just have a quick scan. No, excellent. We're going to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for coming. And we will put this recording up on the channel soon, so you can look at it again if you want to. And it's only recording the speaker view, so so you're not going to have to worry about seeing yourselves. That's all we wanted to say. So thank you for your time. We are forever privileged by the humans that cross our paths. So rock on. What's today? Thursday, Wednesday. Have an amazing Thursday and Friday. We love you.
Bye guys, thank you.
Take care. Take self-healing care. Bye. Is it ended?